Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are live. This is another episode of Ask a Clutter Boss, the internet's best weekly decluttering advice show. I am Jess Marcy. I am your clutter boss for today. It is Tuesday, March 11th, and we have a couple of great questions to cover in today's Ask a Clutter Boss. If you're joining us live, please pop into the comments and say hello. It is always so nice to see you, to read your feedback, and to have this live interaction. And if you're joining us on replay, just give us a hashtag replay in the comments so that we know that you were here. And also that helps you see more of our content on YouTube. So it's a win-win for both of us. All right. So without further ado, we have two topics that we are covering in Ask a Clutter Boss today. And the first one is, can you help me understand the difference between minimalism and decluttering? I don't understand how they're different or how to get to the end goal of, like, is the end goal of minimalism, is the end goal of decluttering minimalism? I shortened this question a little bit. So this is a great question. I think when it comes to, and I would love to hear in the comments, because I have to tell you that minimalism it's a mindset and it's an aesthetic in your home. Um, and I think that the definition of what minimalism actually is a little bit different for each of us. But the way that I see minimalism really is as those two things, as a mindset and as an aesthetic. And I think for a lot of people, minimalism as an aesthetic feels very uncomfortable, especially a lot of people who we work with. The minimalistic look, which is very empty, very plain. For many of our clients, can actually have a little thread of PTSD associated with it. Many of our clients, well, one reason that people struggle to let go of stuff is because when they were children, their stuff was taken from them. So, like, they came home from school and their room had been cleared out, or they moved a lot, either because they were a military family or for financial circumstances or whatever reason. They moved a lot. So, that really clear, empty space reminds them of the experience of moving a lot, which was, for people that we work with, was not necessarily a positive thing growing up. It also, one reason that people hang on to stuff so tightly is because they were raised with a scarcity mindset, because they had scarce access to resources that we all need to survive in this world. So hanging on to stuff is a reaction to that. Like, we want to make sure that we have what we need at hand all the time. We don't know how to let go of our resources because we were raised in an environment where you would have been crazy to let go of your resources. And so that blank slate, clear emptiness harkens back to a time where things were difficult. And that's why it was so stark, was because of difficult circumstances in our past. So minimalism as an aesthetic. Now, to other people, and I just want to share this other point of view, the minimalism aesthetic is very easy on our nervous system. So it looks clean, it looks not overwhelming, it just looks peaceful. So it really, as an aesthetic, you get to choose if you like minimalism or if you don't, or if you like something in the middle. I tend to find that I'm a little in between, right? I like to have clear surfaces because it feels less overwhelming to me. But I also like to have decor. I like plants, and my home is lived in. We have a lived in house. We have a family, we have children, we have animals, we have farm animals outside, we have dirt, we have dust, we have paperwork from school, we have mail, we have stuff. But it's very easy to manage, and having the clear surfaces and a home for everything is what I need right now in my life to function. So when it comes to minimalism as an aesthetic, you choose if that is what you like. And the other side of that is, you can choose to go really minimalist with your environment, and then you can always add to it later. Or you can have a more maximalist, which is the opposite of minimalist living environment, And you can choose to pull from that and make it more minimal. Based on what's going on in your life, you can design an environment and a home that fits you the best. So never forget that you have the ability to control your environment and you can change your mind anytime you want to. I think one of the mindsets that I was raised with was it's not cool to change your mind. Like if you commit to something, you're committed. Like you're going to see it through. You're going to, and it turns out you can change your mind anytime you want. That was something I kind of had to unlearn as an adult. Was it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your. And in fact, I just changed my office this weekend. I can't say that my family loves that, but I needed a different space. I needed to rework some rooms, and I did because it's what I needed in this moment. And frankly, I think it's what our whole entire family would benefit in this moment, whether they saw it that way or not. When your mom is less stressed, everything is easier. So that's minimalism as an aesthetic. Now, minimalism as a mindset is this idea that less is more. The less we have to take care of, the more time we have. The less we have to deal with on an everyday basis, the easier life is. And minimalism is really, it can get really extreme with the less is more. Having no cars instead of a car, having one car instead of two cars, choosing to live in a place where you can survive with a lot less. You can take any mindset to any level of extreme that you want to. I think when it comes to decluttering, less is more, but that doesn't mean that you have to go down to minimal nothing. It means that and what we teach in Clutter Boss, living within your space is the key. So when you declutter to the point where everything has a home and you can live very comfortably in the storage space that you have in your house, that's the kind of light switch moment from difficult to easy, right? That's when things in your home just are so much easier because you can pick up and put everything away and you have floor space that is clear, which is safer and easier to maintain and easier to clean. So we just get to that point of easy, not minimal. I think minimalism tends to scare the mindset of minimalism, the aesthetic, the whole thing tends to scare some people off from decluttering. Like, well, I don't want to become a minimalist. Don't worry, you don't have to become a minimalist. The choice is yours. How far you take anything is up to you. But living within your space is a healthy goal for everyone, living comfortably within the storage space that you have. So those are my thoughts on minimalism versus decluttering. They're like a Venn diagram. They overlap, but they are not the same. And the goal is not the same. And you decide what works best for you. Okay. The next question is, how do I create a functional space in my kitchen? Talk about a loaded question, my friends. That's okay. We're here for it. So I'm going to give you my top 3 tips to create a functional space in your kitchen, because we could talk about kitchens forever and ever, but I'm just going to share my top 3 tips. Number 1, live within your space. Look at your kitchen. If you want a functional kitchen, you have to look at your kitchen and really break down what the purpose and function of each section of your kitchen should be. Countertops are for preparing food. They are not for storing appliances. And when you can shift your perception of why we have a countertop to function instead of storage, it makes a huge difference. We need prep space in our kitchens, and most of our kitchens are pretty small. So every square inch of counter space counts. It matters. If you choose to keep something on your countertop, it should be something that you're using literally every single day. When it comes to our storage, so that's tip number 1. Counter space is a functional space, not a storage space. When you shift the way you look at your kitchen and you see your countertops for the functional space that they are, and you declutter or reorganize until your countertops are relatively clear, it makes a huge difference. So that's tip number 1. Clear your countertops so that they are functional. Number 2, and this is a very unpopular opinion, but it is one that I swear by. Your pantry storage should be not deep shelves. Like, okay, so most of the time, our pantry storage, the shelves are deep. They're extra deep. They're not even like, they're not the normal depth. They're extra deep. We tend to build pantries that you could dive into. Like, actually, we have pantries that you can walk into, but pantries that you have to like really get in there to see what is in there. It's not that helpful to be storing a tremendous amount of food. And I know there are some religions that one of the tenets of the religion is to have enough food on hand for X amount of months. I think the average American family right now does have enough food on hand in their pantry for X amount of months, but pantries are so deep, the cabinets are so deep that stuff gets lost in the back, and if you can't see it, you won't eat it. That's like a basic principle of kitchen organization. Can't see it, won't eat it. This applies to your refrigerator and it applies to your pantry. If you cannot see the food, if it is not right there, you are not going to eat it. And no one in your family is going to eat it. I mean, just think about your kids opening up the fridge looking for something specific, which is just like behind something else, and they don't find it and they don't get it and they don't eat it and they eat something else instead of what needed to be eaten. Like, it's just, if we don't see it, we won't eat it. So I believe in very shallow cabinets for our pantries. My pantry cabinets are 9 inches deep. And you can see everything. And still things get hidden in my little narrow, shallow cabinets. And they still don't get eaten, even with my attempts to make my pantry storage more shallow so that you can see everything, things still get hidden. So when you're thinking about how to organize your kitchen, and again, you have a choice. You do not have to use your pantry shelves for pantry items. If you have a big storage space, what you want to put in that storage space is a big item. So if you have big, deep, cavernous spaces, put big, deep, cavernous things in those spaces, like pots or appliances. I mean, and that's the other thing, is when you have those big, deep, cavernous spaces and you're taking them up with many little things of food, right? Little packages of food, little compared to the size of the space. You don't have space to store your kitchen appliances, like your small kitchen appliances, the countertop stuff. So you're storing it on your countertop, which is taking away from the functionality of actually preparing food. So back to tip number one. So we really need to rethink how we do this. We want to have big items in big storage spaces, little items in little storage spaces. Specifically, have your pantry items, your food, in smaller cabinets, and have your kitchen appliances and big pots in those big, deeper cabinets. It makes a huge difference. And number three, my third tip for having a functional kitchen, is get to dishes zero every night. Dishes zero is when there are no dishes left to be done. The dishwasher is full. It's running at night. The counters are clear. There is nothing in the sink. Every single day, get to dishes zero. Ground zero for dishes. No dishes are out. Everything is put away every day. You're resetting your kitchen every single day. It makes a huge, huge difference. So, counter spaces are functional spaces. Storage spaces should match what is being stored in them when it comes to volume and size. And get to reset your kitchen zero, dishes zero every single night. Those three tips will radically change the functionality of your kitchen. All right. Those are my 3 tips for today. If they resonated, let me know in the comments. If you think they are total garbage and terrible, terrible advice, let me know in the comments. We can talk. And it is just so nice to see everyone here. So thank you for joining us live. I hope you plan to tune in next week, same time, same place, for next week's episode of Ask a Clutter Boss. Have a great day, everyone.